7 tips today. 7 tips for managing technology in your classroom while you teach. Plus, hang on to the end of the video. I've got a bonus tip for you that will get you out of any problem any technology will give you while teaching. Do you want to improve your classroom management skills? Do you want to increase student engagement? How about amplifying student success? Then you've come to the right place. Welcome to Things That Work. Tip number 1. Choose the best teaching strategy for your lesson. Not all technology lends itself to every lesson. Be sure to choose technology that matches and enhances the lesson that you're teaching. Tip number 2, avoid non-directed Google searching. Yeah, I don't even have to tell you what might happen there. You know exactly what might occur. Non-directed Google searching, bad thing. Yes, I know if you teach high school, they're already doing that anyway, but you don't need to be the instigator of that fiasco. Trust me. Number 3. Technology is just a tool. That's all it is. It's a tool to enhance your lesson. It's not the central message or core information to the lesson you're presenting. Don't let it be a distraction. I would like to refer you to my technology video that I made last year. It talks all about technology not being the central focus and only highlighting the information you want to get to your students. Tip number 4, your room layout and seating arrangement will completely determine your success in the use of technology. If you are doing rotations or you're doing stations with blended learning and having technology at some areas and not technology at others, how you set your classroom up is crucial to the success of the students' learning and your teaching. Tip number 5, make sure your students know why they're doing the activity they're doing. What is the why in the activity? Students need to know that all the time, not just when technology is being used, but in any lesson. Why are we doing this? If you can answer that question, you will increase the engagement of your students by an immeasurable amount. Engagement is key because you want your students to learn your information. I want my students to learn my information, so I want to make sure they are as engaged as they can be. And if students don't know the why, they will either decide one or they'll decide there isn't one. And usually it's the latter. They will decide that there is no real purpose to what we're doing, and they will begin to tune out. Tip number 6, kind of mentioned it earlier. Your content is your number 1 priority. Anything that distracts from that content is detrimental to your students' learning. It can look really cool, but if all they remember is that really cool thing you did with your Promethean board or that really cool thing you did with your projector, then you've lost. Because what they remember is the technology and not the information. Tip number 7. This is a pet peeve of mine when I'm in meetings with adults who are doing presentations. It drives the students kind of crazy as well. Know how to use your technology before you teach your class. Don't let things crash on you without being able to fix it. You need to know what you're doing. You need to be familiar with it. You don't need to be an expert necessarily in the technology, but you do need to know how to run the technology in your classroom before you try to use it to teach the students. Here is the bonus tip for you. This bonus tip will bail you out of any problem that you have with technology, and that is have a backup plan. If you don't have a backup plan, you could be dead in the water for minutes and lose minutes and minutes of instructional time, which puts your students at a disadvantage. And to restart a class that's technology heavy is difficult because sometimes you have to go back before the point where the technology crashed in order to start it. And that makes students have to rewatch or redo or re-see things that they don't necessarily need to, or it will cause them to completely disengage while you fix the problem. Have a backup plan at every step of the way. So if things don't go right, you can move smoothly to your next point, to your next piece of information seamlessly, and the students, if done properly, will never know that something happened wrong. Well, unless there was a fire. Well, or smoke or sparks. But even then, you might be able to play it off well enough and move smoothly enough to the next thing with your backup plan that it won't be a problem. I enjoy learning with you, I enjoy teaching with you, and together we can take over the world.